All right, stay with me. If anybody gets up and walks out during this service, I'm going to follow you out and keep preaching. Listen! I'm going to use myself as an example. Let's just suppose that I really love my habit. Whatever my vice, whatever my habit is. Suppose I love me some alcohol. Suppose I love smoking some cigarettes. Suppose I love doing a little marijuana or a little cocaine or a little crack. Just a little. I don't know what your vice is. I don't know what your habit is. But suppose I just love mine. What's the reality of any habit that we could have that is detrimental to our well-being? What is the reality? The reality is it's going to hurt us and maybe kill us. Am I wrong in that? Somebody tell me if I'm wrong, because if I'm wrong, I'll stop. I'll quit and we'll go get us a bite to eat. I'm good with that. I'm hungry anyway. The reality is our habits that hurt will always hurt. What does our mind tell us? Our mind tells us that is true. Our mind tells us that the Surgeon General's warning on the pack of cigarettes or the little thing of tobacco or whatever it is we take into our body, the warning on there is reality. Men, if I smoke, I'm going to have a low fetal birth weight. Anybody get that? Y'all wake up. Come on, stay with me now. The reality is that the warning is right. It's going to hurt us. What does the heart say? I don't do a lot of other bad stuff. This is cool. I eat fairly healthy. I exercise. My doctor says the ticker's good, man. Doctor says the ticker's good. A very close friend of mine has a brother who has spent his life making money. Spent his life making money. Man, he makes more than probably any of us in here would think of making. Never seen his family. Never really see his wife and kids. He sees them maybe a couple, 2 or 3 weeks out of the year, and they do a lot of big ticket things, a lot of high dollar stuff, buys fancy tools. He's got a brand new Corvette sitting in his yard right now with no miles on it. Bought it a couple of years ago. No miles on it. Brand new Ford F-150. Been serving overseas, making all kinds of contract money, working for other governments, training their military forces. Right? The whole time he's got this one little vice, this little smokeless tobacco that he loves, man. He loves that stuff, man. He loves it. Been putting that tobacco in his body for 25 years. He flew in last night at 7:30 from Germany after he was diagnosed with colon cancer. 10% survival rate because of the kind he's got. What's the reality? The reality is the warnings are real. It's going to hurt us. What's the heart say? It's okay. I'll quit later. I don't do many bad things. Let's get off that one. Relationships. There are things that need to take place in our relationships that don't take place. There's communication that needs to take place between husband and wife that doesn't take place. There's communication that needs to take place between father and son and mother and daughter and so on and so forth. There's communication that needs to take place. And the reality is, if the communication doesn't take place the way it should, then the relationship will not be as strong as it's supposed to be. The heart sometimes says, it's okay, they understand. He knows how I feel. She knows how I feel. They know what I expect from them. The heart will deceive the mind into believing that what you are doing is right, when you and I both know that the reality is we know what's right deep inside, and we know what's wrong. We know what will hurt, and we know what will help, and many times we choose what hurts because it's what we want, and we justify it in our heart. I can't go outside because there's a line out there. Are you scared? No, I'm lazy. What's laziness got to do with going outside because there's a line out there? Does it make sense? Listen, does it make sense? And that verse would say that the lazy person won't go outside because of the line. I would think the verse should say something like the lazy person won't go outside because it's hot. Lazy person won't go outside because it's cold. Lazy person won't go outside because his job stinks. No, it says the lazy person won't go outside, won't go to work, won't go do nothing because there's a line outside. Let me tell you something. When the heart tricks the mind into believing that there's a different version of reality than there really is, pretty soon the person whose heart has tricked his mind so many times begins to believe it themselves. Even when somebody stands up in front of them on a Sunday morning and says, you know what's right and I know what's right and you're still going to do wrong, they'll believe they're still doing right. Even if 7 people would stand up here and call the truth, they'd still believe their version of the truth. Preacher, how do you know that? How do you know that's true? I'm glad you asked me. Turn to Proverbs 26, just 2 or 3 pages ahead. Proverbs 26, verse number 16. I want you to see this with your own eyes. This is important, people. We're going to have to hurry up now. I'm running out of time. Proverbs 26, look at verse number 16. The sluggard, that's the same person, the slothful person, the lazy person, is wiser in his own conceit than 7 men that can render a reason. Now listen to me. Does laziness make the person proud? What does that verse say? That verse said that the lazy person is wiser in their own conceit, in their own pride. Okay? Just like laziness don't make somebody scared to go outside when there's a line out there. Okay, being lazy don't make somebody scared to go outside. Being lazy don't make somebody proud. But the stories that they tell their mind over and over again make them seem that what they are doing is right, even when other people tell them it's wrong. If I sat right here and looked at Big Travis over there, and I said, you are standing up. You are standing up. Travis is standing up. Do y'all see that? If I told myself enough that Travis was standing up to where I began to believe it, I'd go to the wall to back up my position. Even if 7 other people sitting in here looked at him and said, it's obvious the man's sitting down. He ain't but 6 foot tall right now. It's obvious he's sitting down. If he stands up, he's going to be 12. All right, listen. What do you mean by that, preacher? What I mean is this. If we say over and over again that what we're doing is right, even though we know it's wrong in our mind, our heart causes us to really begin to believe it's right. But make no mistake, if you're doing wrong, it's wrong today, it was wrong yesterday, it'll be wrong next month, and it's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt you. If it's something physically you're doing wrong, or if it's something spiritually you're doing wrong, mark my words and mark the words of God, it's going to hurt you. The reality is truth. The reality is always going to be the reality. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Is 2 plus 2 ever going to be anything but 4? No, it's not. But what if in my heart of hearts I really wanted 2 plus 2 to be 5? What if I convinced myself that 2 plus 2 was 5? Does it make it 5? No, it's always going to be 4. What if I convince myself that some of the things I'm doing in my life are okay? What if I convince myself that some of the things I'm not doing are okay? What if I really believe it with all my heart? Does it make it okay? No, it's still wrong. Let me bring all this together. What hope do we have? Listen, understand something. As powerful as our mind is in understanding reality, our heart is even more powerful in bending that reality to fit what we want. Do you understand me? So what hope do we have? I'm going to close with this thought. Listen to me. I want you to turn to Ephesians chapter number 4, near the back of your Bibles. Ephesians chapter number 4. I want to close with a couple of thoughts here. Very, very important. What hope do we have? If our heart is so much more powerful than our mind, if our heart has a way of bending reality to fit our own desires, people, listen. Deception, listen to this. Deception can change courses on us. Deception can go from moral depravity, which is our own self telling lies to justify what we're doing, to mental derangement, which is our own self beginning to believe our lies. Are you with me? Do you understand? So what hope do we have? Look at Ephesians chapter 4, verse number 17 and 18. Here's the hope we have. This I say therefore, and testify in the Lord, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind, having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of God through the ignorance that is in them, because of the blindness of their heart. Listen, what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to walk according to the principles of God. Two more verses, and I promise I'll close. Romans chapter number 16. Turn back right after the book of Acts, just before 1 Corinthians. I'm going to close with these two. Romans chapter number 6, verses 16 through 17. Know ye not that to whom ye yield yourselves servants to obey, his servants ye are, to whom ye obey? Y'all get that? Whoever you obey, that's who you belong to. Whether of sin unto death, or of obedience unto righteousness. Look at this. Verse 17. God be thanked that ye were the servants of sin, but ye have obeyed from the heart that form of doctrine which was delivered you. Bless you. All right, listen. Everybody put your Bibles away and look up. Closing thoughts. There's not a person in here that doesn't know what's right. There's many, many people in here that ain't doing it, including me. You know the things we're supposed to be doing that we're not doing? And the things we're not supposed to be doing that we are doing? The things that we do that we're not supposed to do are going to hurt us. And we know it. That's reality. The things that we're not doing that we're supposed to be doing, they're going to hurt us. That's reality. That's mind. That's intellect. That's reasoning. We know the truth. So why don't we do what we're supposed to, and why don't we stop doing what we're not supposed to? It's just too strong. You know what we have to do? We have to stop listening to this. We have to stop listening to this. We have to stop letting the desires of this heart control what we actually do in our life. The heart is wicked. The Bible tells us that. It's deceitful. Don't listen to your blame heart. Listen to your mind. Now, what might your mind be telling you today? Your mind might be telling you, there's some things in my life that ain't right. I need to check up on it. Your heart might be telling you, you're okay. Everything's good. Your life's good. You got a good job. You got a good income. You got a good family. It's all good. You got a few vices, but it ain't hurt nobody but you, so it's all good. Listen to your mind, people. I'm just asking you, do what you know is right. Some of you in here today, your heart may be telling you that everything's okay inside, in your spiritual life. Everything's all right. I'll go to church once in a while. I'll read my Bible once in a while. I know how to pray. I know who God is. I know who God is. It's okay. Your heart might be telling you that. But in your mind, something somewhere is saying to you, I don't really know who God is. I don't really have a good understanding of my relationship with God. If anybody today's mind is telling them, I might need to look into my relationship with God, listen to your mind, because it ain't okay if your heart's saying it's okay. I promise. It ain't okay.